A new year, a new basement. This was hell putting this recording together. First, we drove 1,000 miles yesterday in a U-Haul with a cat. That's a story for another day. And then I couldn't find anything. I found the mixer, which for those of you that don't know anything about podcasting, you have to have, well, you don't have to have a mixer, but it sure makes your podcast sound a lot better if you have a mixer, and ours is set up with one. It could sound better if we had a guy with a good voice, but in terms of equipment, mixer I had. I also found the computer that was right where we left it, but no power cords. Who has two thumbs and randomly packs mixer and computer cords in other boxes? This guy. That was fantastic. I found stuff all over the place. I have no idea what I was thinking. Like I was going to maybe take a week and get this. So, lesson for you. If you're going to make a podcast and you're going to move, make sure you get it together. So that all stunk. That stunk pretty bad for me, but it didn't stink nearly as bad as if I'd lost $1 billion in cryptocurrency. That would have stunk. And finally, can't believe we're saying this, live from Mom's brand new refurbished basement outside of Detroit, Michigan. Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, Average Joe Money on Twitter. Welcome to Money in the Morning. This is the podcast where we go over not one, but two headlines ripped from the financial press. And then, as if that's not enough, as if you need more, we actually take the ideas from both of those and we put them together into one thing we call the big idea that you can take home with you all day long. Money in the Morning is brought to you by M1 Finance, free automated investing. You know what's funny about this? Free. My least favorite thing about M1 Finance. It cost next to nothing before this. But what's funny is it was the F word, free, that made people go, oh my God, I got to check it out. Well, what I like about it is it's a brokerage built for today's investor. It empowers you to manage your money and build wealth with ease. Create and automate your portfolio. They take care of the rest, as I mentioned, for free. But use our link, stackingbenjamins.com/M, the number one finance. And you know what? That's how you support the show, because that's how they support us. So thanks to everybody who's done that. All right. You've got places to go. We got two great headlines. So Laura, why don't you get this brand new party started?
Here are today's Money in the Morning headlines.
Very simple. She's had a lot of different things she says. Today, brand new start. She just keeps it easy. Nice job, Laura. First piece comes to us from, where the heck does it come from? Because I just lost it. Our piece comes from Forbes, and I've got everything happening here in front of me except the piece from Forbes. There it is. Welcome to live podcast. We do this live in front of a Facebook audience, which scares me and also creates moments like the one we just had, where my piece just went missing. This is written by Davey Winder. How hackers stole $1 billion from cryptocurrency exchanges in 2018. Did you read this? $1 billion. $1 billion. It's quite a lot of crypto. Let's find out what happened. According to the Cryptocurrency Anti-Money Laundering Report from CipherTrace, some $927 million have been stolen from cryptocurrency exchanges in the first 3 quarters of 2018 alone. That total will almost certainly have hit, if not smashed, straight through the 1 billion mark by now. Obviously, those numbers still to come. But who are the hackers behind the heist and how did they get away with it? The how remains sadly predictable throughout the year. Truth be told, exploiting vulnerabilities in crypto wallet software and servers, social engineering, password compromises, and insider theft. The who covers equally predictable territory with lone wolf criminal opportunists at the lower end of scale, through to well-resourced nation-state actors at the other. So there's a 21-year-old opportunist criminal who managed to steal $1 million from the Coinbase and Gemini accounts of San Francisco resident Robert Ross after convincing the victim's mobile network provider to assign that phone number to his own device. Once he'd succeeded in this SIM swapping endeavor, an increasingly common method used to compromise otherwise secure accounts by gaining access to two-factor authentication codes sent via SMS, the criminal was able to access the crypto accounts with relative ease. Let's go over what they're talking about there before I move on. So instead of doing this the old-fashioned way, like just putting in password and hoping that it worked, or using some high-end computer to guess what this person's password did, all they did was went to the person's mobile phone provider service, convinced them to assign the phone over to them. I mean, think about how easy that might be. Hey, it's my phone. I mean, this is really my phone. I don't know. I can think of a million ways you could find a way to make that your phone. And then two-factor authentication, that second factor, what do? They send a text to your phone. So now I've got the app, I've got the wallet. I go to have the second factor that gets sent directly to me. I change the password, move the money over to myself. Bada boom, bada bing. I've just stolen your money. Very scary how easy that is, isn't it? So that's what they're talking about. So let's continue. Then there are the state-sponsored actors. North Korea remains firmly in the crosshairs for anyone investigating cryptocurrency theft, especially at the bigger end of the attack scale. One group in particular, the Lazarus Group, is thought to have been involved in a number of attacks, often launching their attacks out of China, possibly in order to try and obfuscate, there's a word, accurate geopolitical attribution. The Lazarus actors are widely thought to be nation-state players tasked with cyber heists to help boost the beleaguered North Korean economy. In this regard, Lazarus is thought to have been spectacularly successful. More than $571 million in cryptocurrencies reported to have been stolen by the Lazarus Group since the start of 2017, and it's thought that 65% of stolen cryptocurrency ends up in North Korea, 65%. In June 2018, $31.6 million across multiple cryptocurrencies was stolen from the South Korean BitThumb exchange. Investigators from Alien Vault tracked the Lazarus Group distributing malicious documents created using the Hangul word processor to cryptocurrency users in South Korea earlier in the year. Alien Vault concluded that while it couldn't be certain the malware linked to in those HWP documents was responsible for the BitThumb heist, it seems a likely suspect. If you're surprised at the $1 billion figure being quoted as a total haul from cryptocurrency heist in 2018 alone, you really shouldn't be. The Japanese crypto exchange CoinCheck theft that was disclosed in January, for example, was responsible for $532 million alone. The methodology behind the biggest cryptocurrency hack of the year has never been made public. However, the Japan Times reported at the time that regulators had urged CoinCheck to address security concerns about the way it manages customer assets prior to the attack. Whereas most cryptocurrency exchanges manage assets cold wallets, that is ones that are offline. CoinCheck apparently managed all of its NEM coins within hot wallets connected to external networks to enable quick trading. Unfortunately, hot wallets are notorious for taking a soft approach to security in order for that trading activity to take place rather than multiple authentication methods routinely applied to cold wallet funds. I've been told by people, I have gone on record as saying that I do not do cryptocurrency myself yet. I do think it's still going to be the future, but there's a long way to go. And when I say the future, I don't mean like next week, next year. I mean, we're a ways away from deciding who's even close to winning this. I am much more involved in the cannabis stocks than this, because while that's still also the Wild Wild West, not nearly the Wild West that this is. But there's a few things. I mean, obviously, if somebody wants to have your phone assigned to them, I'm not sure how you protect against that. And I'm sure that some people listening to this might have ways to protect against that. Email me, joe@stackingbenjamins.com. But what I can tell you is this is a few things when it comes to password protection, using a password manager, right? I think that that's important. I think that too many times it's too easy to get into our accounts. Also, I do know this about crypto is that don't leave your money in that hot wallet. I know that. Don't leave the money in that account. Move your crypto into an account that you have control of until you're ready to trade it again. So move it to a cold wallet that you actually have, and then move it back into play when you're ready to make a trade again. Ugly. It is fantastic. Tim is here with us on Facebook, part of our Facebook family, watching as we record this. Tim says, from the sounds of it, safest ways to buy and sell crypto through the mail. What could go wrong, right? I mean, absolutely. Just send a check made out to CASH, payable to anybody. And, just leave it, maybe market that this is, better yet, just cash in a wallet, Tim. That's fantastic. Andy's here. He's saying that's quite a lot of Sizzlers, popcorn, shrimp, for sure. Absolutely. Jay's here. Hey, Jay. Says, New Year and still going strong with listening to Stacky Benjamin's podcast. That's our other show, Stacky Benjamin's, even though people watching live. I had nothing to put on the blank wall here in the new basement, so I put our very old thing that we take to conferences with us, our old logo behind me. If I move just over a little bit, it could look like a halo, maybe, with weird green things sticking out of the side of my head. But for those of you listening to this, the audio version, you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Let's just get on to the second headline. I agree. I think the point here is, let's have our takeaway. Got to protect yourself, especially in crypto. Crypto is the wild, wild west. We're doing a story like every third week about something going wrong in crypto, whether it's another crypto going under, or it's everybody losing their butt since January in cryptocurrencies, people predicting it's going to come back when it doesn't. Especially, by the way, it's funny, people that write crypto newsletters. I saw one of those last week. Almost thought about having that as our headline today until I saw this idea about getting ripped off. About once I saw that $1 billion. It's a lot of money. Let's move on to our second piece, which comes to us from NBC Sports. And it's funny, like I don't think we've ever had a headline that's come from NBC Sports. And this one's a little dated. I actually pulled this one up over a week ago. So the Patriots have now made it to the playoffs. And for those of you who aren't football fans, don't go to sleep. I'm going to talk about football just for a second. Their quarterback, the dude who is the stud on their team, a guy named Tom Brady, went to this horrible school that is now not far from me here in Michigan. But besides that, he's a phenomenal quarterback. When it comes to what you need to know about Tom Brady, it's that he's known for an extremely strong work ethic. The guy works his butt off. He also did some cool things with his contract, which is what today's story is all about, because I think there's some good stuff in here for all of us, whether we like football or not. But anyway, this piece is dated 1 week ago. So at the time, didn't know where the Patriots were going to land. But let's get going. Michael David Smith wrote this piece, NBC Sports. Tom Brady set to earn none of his incentives. This year, the Patriots and Tom Brady agreed to a revised contract that was designed to pay him more like the elite quarterback he's been throughout his NFL career. The deal would give Brady a bonus of $1 million each for finishing in the top 5 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, passer rating, completion percentage, and yards per attempt. Brady finished in the top 5 in all 5 of those statistical categories last year. So when he signed that contract this year, he surely expected to earn the full $5 million. Instead, he's set to earn 0. Although there's still one game left at the time this came out for Brady to improve his stats, he's so far out of the top 5 in all 5 of these categories that there's no realistic way he could reach any of those $1 billion incentives. He certainly won't reach all of them. And then it goes through where Brady stands on each of these. In passing yards, said he has the best chance of reaching that at the time. He was number 9, 311 yards out of the top 5. Passing touchdowns, he was 12th. Passer rating, he's 17th. Again, he's got to be in the top 5. Completion percentage, he's 19th. Ouch. 14th in yards per attempt. Brady's numbers declined this year in a season when quarterback stats across the board improved. Those incentives, which seem perfectly reasonable, easy for me to say, at the time he signed the contract, are now impossible for him to reach. And it's funny because you're wondering to yourself, okay, Joe, what the hell does this have to do with anything? What does that have to do with me? I love this idea of an incentive-laden contract. I like this idea of an incentive-laden life. You know, I've talked about this before. I have nothing to do with this company, but I use this app. We've had them on the Stacky Benjamin Show on our Friday FinTech segment. I love this app called Tip Yourself. And I like this idea of tipping yourself. Like you tip a waiter at a restaurant, you tip, you know, the person who cleans your room at a hotel, whatever it might be. You tip a lot of different people. I like this idea of giving yourself an incentive. So if you go out in super cold weather and go for the run after you thought you weren't going to, and you say, you know what, I got this $5 in my wallet. I'm going to put it in my tip jar if I go for the run. And then you give yourself that incentive and you reach it. Like those are little things. But then I started thinking, why don't we set up our life more in this incentive system where we got this stuff that we say we want, especially this time of year, right? When it comes to New Year's resolutions, what's our incentive for reaching any of those? I mean, sure. Okay. If I lose some weight, all right, I'm going to feel better. That's great. I'm going to, whatever it might be, but what's an incentive that would really, really, really make your day? And it can't be something you need. I know a lot of people that listen to financial shows, this Puritan ethic runs very strong among money geeks. And I know that from all my time as a financial planner. Like, oh, well, I got to do this. No, I can't do something frivolous. No. It's got to be something frivolous. It's got to be something fun. And it can't be because you deserve it. Because let's be honest, you probably don't. But it's got to be something that's going to be this carrot that, you know what? I'm going to give myself something cool because I reached this cool milestone. What is it? What is that thing? One of my favorite financial planners to talk to was a guy that was the top financial planner at American Express when I was there. And he was so amazing, partly because he knew how to get at the things that people actually wanted. So he'd start off his meetings by asking, you know, okay, so what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? And everybody says the same crap, right? Okay, I want financial independence. Okay, yes, you do. All right, so you check that box. What else? They have children. I want to put my kid through college. Okay, yep, got that. That's fine. What are you going to do in retirement? Well, I'm going to golf. I'm going to garden, right? Those are the big two. All right, none of that stuff has anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. It might have something to do with you, but there was usually something beyond that. And he had this approach, he told me, that was the deli approach. And I think you should play this game on yourself. And the deli approach was this. What else? Okay, what else do you want? What else do you want for yourself? What else is it? What else? What else? What else out there? And it's funny because it doesn't have to be a monetary thing. It doesn't be something that's you know, I want more time for hiking in the woods. Well, how do I do that? I got to find a way to work less hours at work. Well, how do I do that? So it doesn't have to be something that costs a lot of money. Maybe you want to lose some weight. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the New Year's resolution things that people do. Okay, I got to be able to afford a gym. Personal trainer. We had Jen Sincero on our Stacky Benjamin's podcast yesterday, if you're listening to this on the day that this drops on Thursday. And Jen talked about, listen, Olympic athletes take themselves seriously. They hire trainers. Like, okay, you got to figure out how to hire the trainer. How are you going to do that? Where's that going to come from in the budget? But this incentive-laden thing, Tom Brady didn't used to have that type of a contract. Now he does. Pretty cool. I think it works for you and me too. That's Joe's rant for today. Let's say hi again to our friends hanging out with us on Facebook. Oh boy, we are talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Amika's here. Hey, Amika. Amika says, can neighbor Doug manage my crypto better than that guy from the Sizzler? I'm not sure that he can do that. Neighbor Doug, not very great at that. Tim says, nope, I'm going to send a check to Joe's CASH marketplace. I'll also send him a copy of my social security card to prove my identity. Perfect. And your mother's maiden name. And if you're married, the place you met your spouse. What else do we got? Dad's middle name. That's important. Got to have that one. Andy says, better have a DNA sample. Karen is here. Hey, Karen. She says, go Pats from Boston Girl. Oh, boy. Oh boy, here comes all the football talk. Tim says, "Boo boo for Tom Brady. I feel so sorry for a guy who pays more in taxes than I earn." Isn't that your goal? It's funny. We get these questions all the time from people who say that they want to minimize their taxes. Our number one goal should be like Tim's is. Let's have the highest tax bill I can possibly have. Because you know what that means? I'm making money hand over fist. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to pay unnecessary taxes. But I often see people do all this tax advantage stuff. They're not trying to actually make more money, have more money. They're just trying to pay less tax. Don't let the tail wag the dog. Good stuff. Kathy's here. Kathy's a Chiefs fan. Says, sorry, our Mahomes is making him look bad. Chiefs. Go Chiefs. Tim says, I bet Tom Brady wishes he had Joe's hair. I want Tom Brady's hair, don't I? Doesn't Tom Brady still have a full head of hair? That guy, I don't know. Hair envy. You can see how off the rails this is. You can hear how off the rails it is if you're listening to the audio version of this. Rick's here says Tom's wife will take care of him. That's his incentive is his model spouse. Karen is here. Karen says, when we move this year, if I pack all cords with a computer, I'll tip myself a Benjamin. That's what I should have done. Had I given myself a financial incentive, I would have packed stuff. And actually, Cheryl even said that to me. She's like, how come half these boxes don't have anything written on them? That's because Joe packed them. Sorry. I totally forgot we had to write stuff on the boxes. Who knew? I'm only 50 years old. Yeah. Kurt's here. Kurt's giving himself a 56-inch flat screen TV incentive. That sounds good. Michael's here. Made it to the show. Nydia's here. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Joe. Hey, Nydia. All right. Think that's it. In a second, we're going to do the big idea where we take these two pieces, Tom Brady and cryptocurrencies getting hacked. How the heck am I going to put those two together? We'll do that here in just a second. But first, I promised earlier I wanted to talk a little bit about M1 Finance, because let's talk about investing for a second, and maybe not in a cryptocurrency and a hot wallet. Doesn't a hot wallet sound like a disease? Like you got a case of the hot wallet and you got to go have that checked. I don't know. Maybe. But you don't want to keep it there. Instead, if you have a regular investment strategy like everyone listening to this, I hope has, you're going to want to use a place like M1 Finance. And I'll tell you what attracted me to M1 Finance when I first heard about them. It had nothing to do with the fact that they're free. It had nothing to do with the fact that they can put together model portfolios for you. It's the fact that if you're going to be retired, let's say, for a long period of time, and you've got different time frames, you need different pieces of your money, instead of having it all managed as one account, you can actually split it up into different pies. And by pies, I mean maybe you've got one for the first 10 years of retirement, then another for the next 10, and then another for the next 10. And let's say you're going to be over 60 when you retire and you want to have money in your retirement fund for your kids' college, and you've got that money commingled. We'll have it as your kids' college fund as a separate pie. Same account. Instead of having 25 accounts, why not have one account, different asset allocations in the same account? All my years as a financial planner, I'd never seen anything like that. Thought it was fantastic. It's amazing what Brian and the team over at M1 Finance have done. And as I mentioned, it's free. But please use our link, because that's how they support the show, is whenever someone signs up using our link, we actually are able to use that for equipment and new cords if I happen to lose a cord. StackyBenjamins.com/M1 Finance for that. Good stuff. All right. Let's talk about the big idea here. How are we going to take cryptocurrency and Tom Brady? And this is pretty simple. We talk a lot about investments, but I mentioned when I was talking about M1 Finance a second ago about investment strategy. A lot of people have investments. Not many people, when I was a financial planner, had an investment strategy. And that really, the strategy part is the key to having good investments. So buying crypto is fine. Not knowing anything about crypto and leaving it in an account where hackers run galore here in the Wild Wild West, not a strategy. Made an investment, didn't really have an idea of how to protect that. comes to Tom Brady. I think investing in yourself, especially when a lot of people are doing that this time of year, right? January, New Year's resolutions, investing in yourself, you can just take a bunch of classes, or it can be part of a strategy. And we see that with our income all the time, right? Things will be better when I make more money. No, they won't. Being better is a state of mind. You're going to have more money, and you know what you're going to do? You're going to spend it. You're going to feel exactly the same as you do today. More money does not make you happier. More money gives you more money. And I know there's statistics that say up to $75,000 it can make you. I get all that, but I hope you get my point. Where does that income fit in your overall investment strategy to make you happy? Investment plus strategy for the win. That's our big takeaway today, guys. From the new basement. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Facebook here. This has been a ton of fun. I'm so happy we were able to actually get this show off the ground today. It's amazing. Thanks to everybody listening. Thanks to everybody who's left us a review of the show. Go stack some Benjamins. We'll see you back here on Saturday. Back here at Money in the Morning. Bye-bye.
Money in the Morning is created by Joe Saul-Sehy and comes to your ears because of the collective genius of our producer, Richie Rutter-Reese, engineer, Caden Thompson, and a pack of very well-trained ferrets here in the basement. You'll find links to all of our headlines featured on today's show in Joe's Twitter feed at @AverageJoeMoney. I know you already know this too, but Money in the Morning is for entertainment purposes only. You shouldn't act on anything recommended by a bunch of entertainers in a basement without first consulting with your financial advisor and second, having your head examined. Have a headline you'd like us to discuss? Send them to Joe at stackingbenjamins.com or put them on our Stacking Benjamins Basement closed Facebook group. This show is copyright 2018 Stacking Benjamins LLC, all rights reserved. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor Doug, and I reserve the right to always say, we'll see you next time back here on Money in the Morning.